Pazzi, how nice is it to have guys coming back out onto the ice? We know Adam Boqvist was going to be ready, but to have more guys join him today.
Yeah, they've been skating for some time, a few days now, and yeah, it's good to have them back there. We want to include them in drills with other players, so no, it's good.
What kind of lift does that give everybody just to see when your captain comes back, even if he's not ready?
Yeah, he's been. It's good, but he's been around. He's our captain. He's been around the room. He's been, except for the road trips because he couldn't make it, but he's been around the team. But it's good to have him on the ice. Yep.
Adam goes right back into the lineup tonight.
Yep.
So how does that change things for you?
Well, it's good to have him back. Obviously, changes a few things. So we're gonna have probably Severson can play on the left side. Boqvist can play on the left side. So we're gonna play with those guys.
Who comes out?
Well, we're gonna have Severson, Boqvist. We're gonna have Yurchek, Provorov, and Bean and Gudbranson playing tonight.
Christensen obviously out. Any other lineup changes?
No.
Tarasov in net.
Yes.
Who backs up?
Martin.
So on Tarasov, then it's the second consecutive start. I know you have a plan on going with that rotation, but this seems to be more of a reward for his recent good play.
Exactly. We have we have a plan, but in this league, the plan can change every day. But right now, he deserved we could argue he was our best player the last game, so he deserves another win, another start.
I've asked a couple times about having guys out of the lineup, and especially the guys that wear the letters. And so I know this year Gudbranson has done that from the beginning, at least at road games, but now he's doing it at home. And it seemed like even before some of the guys were out, you kind of saw him. Now he's in his second year. He's more comfortable. He's kind of being more of a voice in that room. But has he had to even step it up more recently? And have you just been impressed by the way he handles himself on a day-to-day basis?
Well, you can be a leader if your game is not supporting your words or your actions. It's away from the games. It's not as powerful. He's been good on the ice. He's been good during games. He's been good in the room. He's our oldest player. He's all in. And, he's a physical guy. He has a presence on the ice. He's like the cop, if you want to say it that way. Like we've been chirped quite a bit in the past since we have Gudbranson and Olivier. It has changed for some reason. So we have a young team. He's protecting everyone, so they're allowed to play. But it's beyond that. He's a mature man, very smart man, and he takes his role seriously. He's playing good hockey, and he's a good leader in the room.
What have your thoughts been on the Russian line as of late, specifically Dmitry Voronkov's play?
So real good start together, right? They were really dynamic. Just see a little dip. So we're going to play with that. We did in the third period in Philly. I'm not saying that they're not going to go back together, but right now they're not together. So, but play with the puck. He's a first-year player in the NHL, Voronkov. He's a big man, and it doesn't feel that he's a first year, but he's a first-year NHL player. So he's learning the NHL game. Everything is different for him. As we said before, the language, the food, the lifestyle, everything. Coaches, the systems, the ice, the opponents. So he's a real good start, those three guys together recently. And maybe I should have made that change earlier, but the last game I felt, okay, enough. We have to change it up a little bit, and we'll go from there. But his attitude, when I speak to him with Marchenko as a translator, he's really good. He wants to do the right thing. And he had some good shifts the last game. I mean, I thought he was skating the last game, so that's a good sign.
Back to Boqvist just for a second. He was playing well before he got hurt, and he has the ability to help generate some offense. Just how will his insertion back in the lineup help kind of get things going from the back end?
We're a good transition team. Our breakouts were a little bit deficient recently, but part of it is personal. Is Zach Werenski, Boqvist, those guys can move the puck and be really good on breakouts. So having him back, hopefully we don't spend as much time in the D zone because we're going to be able to break out in control. Same thing with our transition game, getting the puck back in the neutral zone and creating transition. And offensively, he's really dynamic. So in those areas, and what he's done this year that is different than, so we knew all those parts, the offensive part, but what he's done this year is his defensive game improved quite a bit. And so we'll see tonight. That's just his first game, but he's a good player for us. He's going to help us.
Kind of go back to the rush line being a little, broken up and having I think it was Sillinger out there at morning skate, and I think you had Sillinger with Chinikov and maybe Marchenko some weight in that Philly game, and I think you've talked in the past that Chinikov and Sillinger seem to have some chemistry together, but do you see that kind of come back a little bit against Philly?
Yeah, well, I did, and also earning your ice time and all of that, like the accountability part of it. Sillinger has been playing really well for us. He's a key guy on our PK. He's been solid defensively. He's playing a simple game. He was physical the last game. So he's doing the things that we're asking him to do really well. So when you do that, you earn something, and that's what we're doing. So, but there's been some chemistry between him and Chinikov in the past. Felt it was back to that the last game in the third period, but he's earned it. He's earned it to be put in that position, and that's as simple as that.
Marc-Andre Fleury, do you see the potential in juniors to what he's at now, 1,000 games, 1 win away from tying Waugh? Could you have imagined that 20-some years ago?
How much time do you have? I love this kid. I've known him since he's 15 years old, and he is the same today as when he was 15. His passion for the game, his character, he's a great teammate, talented, fast, quick, hockey sense. Like he's going right to the Hall of Fame. And am I surprised? No, I'm not. He's, the pressure of being the first overall in Pittsburgh, what he's been through. Listen, he showed up at 15 years old. He was going to turn 16 in junior, and the plan was to send him back to midget. And I had hair back then, so that's a long, long time ago. And every day I was a GM and coach back then, and every day we have to send him back, and we couldn't. Every practice he was just the best guy out there, and we had to keep him, and then we kept him, and he just took off, and I'm so happy for him. Like 1,000 games, that's big, and to me, he's going right to the Hall of Fame. He's just beyond the hockey side, he's just an amazing person coming from a great family. Really happy for him.
Any other favorite memories or anything that stands out that is quintessential him? Like when you think of him, that comes to mind from your time together?
I have quite a few. Some I can't tell you. But I remember, just to talk about his character, one game I pulled him. I can't remember why, if it was the team or him. So I pulled him. He was 16 years old. And back then, we didn't have the technology that we have today. So the guy on the bench, the goalie on the bench, had to take some stats and the shots and the locations of the shots. So I pulled him. I can't remember. Was it the second period? And anyhow, after the game, it must have been in the second or third period, because after the game, I looked at the sheet, and there's nothing on that piece of paper, and that's his job, to do it. He got pulled, but you still got to do your job on the bench. And he wrote something like, "I'm not a statistician, I'm a goalie." And I was mad, but I loved it. It told me a lot about his character. He wanted to be a goalie. He was mad he didn't stay in the net, and we had a hard conversation. The other thing I had to tell him quite a bit too is I don't want him to fight, because he wanted to fight quite a bit in junior, and he broke his, I think, a finger. So there's quite a few about Marc-Andre, but great man.
He was saying yesterday that when he got to you that it was, that he was homesick, the first time away from home, he's a teenager,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and that you really helped him in that capacity. Like, do you remember some of those stories?
Not really.
Okay.
I know we took care of them. Great organization. We really took care of our people first before the hockey. They're kids, right? 16 to 20. And our mission there was to build people first and then take care of hockey. So school was important, billet system was important, all of that away from the rink. But we had a great staff and a good bunch of people supporting our players. I was just a part of it. But I can't tell you exactly why he's saying this, but I think if you spoke to all of our players back then, they would all say the same thing.
Was he a prankster yet or not yet?
I don't remember that part, but I mean, remember his smile. Like you see him every day for you guys, but he's a guy that loves hockey when he's at the rink. I had to tell him, like in the warm-up, he would take all shots from all angles. 3 guys shooting at the same. I say, hey, I called him different name back then. He was just a little kid, but I say, hey, just focus on one shot at a time. You're gonna get injured, and he never listened to me, obviously, because I think he still does the same thing.
The last puck then?
Yeah, he's trying to stop all 3 shots or 4 shots, whatever it is, like 2 shots. It's just he loves the game. He loves the game. To me, that's a skill we don't talk enough about. The passion for the game. He is the ultimate guy. He loves the game. He's a hardworking guy. Getting him off the ice has always been an issue. He wants to play hockey. He's a hockey player. He loves it. So he's always been like this. It's never changed. All right.